I sat with them and I sat with the war cabinet. I said, look, don't make the mistake America made. America made a mistake. We went after bin Laden until we got him. But we shouldn't have gone into Ukraine. I mean, we shouldn't have gone into the whole thing in Iraq and Afghanistan. It wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary. It just caused more problems than it cured.
This is my video update on this Sunday, midday, March the 10th. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with Professor Biden speaking to MSNBC. And the professor, he said that the U.S. military did the right thing by going after bin Laden in Afghanistan. But after they got bin Laden, the U.S. military made a mistake by going into Ukraine. That is what the professor said. America made a mistake. We hunted bin Laden until we took him out. But at the same time, we should not have gone into Ukraine. A bit of a Freudian slip from the professor, but he kind of corrected himself, and he said that the United States should not have gone into Iraq and Afghanistan. There was no need to go into Iraq and Afghanistan, and the professor said that going into these countries created more new problems. So that was the statement from the professor, Professor Joe Biden. And Biden also has an ad campaign going on. Actually, he launched, I think, his first ad campaign, big ad campaign for the 2024 elections. And in this ad campaign, Biden addresses the concern about his age. And towards the end of this campaign, this advertisement, the producer asked Biden off camera for one more take. And Biden jokes, "Look, I'm very young, energetic, and handsome. What the hell am I doing this for?" Kind of like an outtake blooper joke at the end of this advertisement, which addresses Biden's age and his handsome good looks. And what is he doing this for at 81 years old? Anyway, that is the ad campaign that Biden is launching to kick off the 2024 presidential election campaign. And let's now shift gears and go to Ireland. Since we're talking about elections and voting and campaigns, Ireland, I was going to say Biden, Ireland had a vote yesterday to change the definition of families in the Constitution and to also remove the mention of women's duties in the home. And this was put up for a vote in Ireland, and it was overwhelmingly rejected by big margins. And this vote was actually supported by, from what I understand, by all of the main political parties in Ireland to change some of the text in the Constitution related to families, and a part of the Constitution which talks about women's duties in the home. Let me read you what happened with this referendum. The referendum on the matter was held on Friday, which was timed to coincide with the International Women's Day. The voters were offered an option to expand the constitutional protection of families to include those founded on durable relationships other than marriage. They were also offered to remove the clause about the state's duty to ensure that mothers shall not be obliged by economic necessity to engage in labor to the neglect of their duties in the home. According to the official results released late on Saturday, 67.7% voted against redefining the family, while nearly 74% rejected the removal of the duties in the home clause. Quote, I think it's clear at this stage that the family amendment and the core amendment referendums have been defeated, Prime Minister Leo Varadkar said at a press conference in Dublin on Saturday, admitting that the authorities had failed to convince the majority of the public. So, from what I understand, what I read about this referendum vote, this was not a vote that divided conservatives and liberals, that split the left and the right, nor was this some kind of vote that split apart the political parties. The political parties, the main political parties, were all in favor of this referendum. They were all pushing for a yes, yes vote. But the majority of the citizens of Ireland, for various reasons, they voted no, no on this referendum vote. And some of the reasons that I read were connected to the wording of this referendum, to the way the government presented this referendum and promoted this referendum, to even things like how will this affect taxation, or the definition of the family with regards to taxation, or social benefits, and all kinds of different issues. So the majority that voted no, no in Ireland really encompassed the entirety of the Irish population, left, right, conservative, liberals, whatever party affiliation. Most of the people in Ireland were just against this entire initiative, so that is why it was defeated in a big, big way. But the government, the globalist government in Ireland, I imagine that they are going to take this defeat and rethink things, but come back with another referendum, and they will never give up until they manage to make the changes that the globalist political class is ordering them to make in the Constitution. So they will be back. That is my conclusion to this referendum vote and this story. They will be back, and they are going to push for these changes until they get the yes, yes vote. That is how democracy is done in the globalist European Union. So let's do an update on what is going on in Haiti. I talked about this a couple of days, the chaos that is happening right now in Haiti. And I woke up this morning and I opened up my my Twitter X, and I saw a whole bunch of posts saying that Haiti, the government in Haiti, has collapsed, that the president of Haiti has fled the country, though it was my understanding that the president of Haiti could not re-enter the country. He was having a hard time re-entering the country after he was going around the world trying to put together some sort of military coalition to intervene in Haiti. And so I was under the impression that the airport was being blocked and he was not able to return to the country. But I saw a whole bunch of reporting saying that the president had fled Haiti. So I don't know what's going on there with the president. I saw reports saying that all the ports have been closed. And then I read the main narrative about what is going on in Haiti, which is that cannibal gangs are running around the streets of Haiti. They've taken over, and these cannibal gangs are eating the dead bodies from the prison breakouts that have occurred and the fighting that has occurred in Haiti. Anyway, that a very, very strange narrative that is being put out there by the mainstream media, talking about how these cannibal gangs, not criminal gangs, cannibal gangs, have now taken over, and they are roaming the streets of Haiti, and the entire country has collapsed. I don't know if this is true or not, but All I will say is I'm going to wait a bit, maybe 24 hours, 48 hours, to get some more reliable reporting as to what is happening in Haiti. Whenever I see titles from the mainstream media like cannibal gangs have taken over, I have to pause and just be a bit skeptical about what the mainstream media is reporting on Haiti at the moment. No doubt the situation is bad, but there's a different side to the story as to what is happening in Haiti, and a lot of it revolves around Jimmy Cherizier, who goes by the nickname Barbecue. And from my understanding, the globalist powers, the powers that be, they would like to drum up some sort of a military intervention to go after Jimmy Cherizier and take him out of the equation, because he is trying to free Haiti from decades and decades, centuries of colonial control. At least this is what my understanding of what is happening in Haiti. But I could be completely wrong about this. I am not an expert in what is going on in Haiti. I'm just trying to deliver the news, just a basic summary of the news and an update as to what is going on in Haiti, because as I said in my video a couple of days ago, we need to keep an eye out on the situation in Haiti, because things are heating up, and you are seeing the mainstream media is talking about cannibal gangs, and I imagine soon they're going to start talking about a military intervention, and we know how the story goes. So anyway, I might have gotten some things wrong in how I'm covering this story. My apologies if I did get some things wrong, but something tells me that the mainstream media is up to its old tricks, and they're trying to get a big military intervention in Haiti in order to squash Jimmy Cherizier. I don't know. Anyway, that's my gut feeling on this. So I'm going to wait another 24 to 48 hours to see what's happening in Haiti, to get some more reliable reporting to see what's going on in Haiti. Let's now talk about a subject that I do know fairly well, and that is Project Ukraine. And Foreign Affairs, they put out an article with the title, one second here, let me see how I'm doing on time. All right. They came out with an article with the title, "Time is Running Out in Ukraine. Kiev cannot capitalize on Russian military weakness without U.S. aid." Time is running out, and pretty soon Ukraine will not be able to capitalize on the Russian shovels and the washing machine chips. So time is running out. You better get some of that 61 billion to the Zelensky regime. And that is what this Foreign Affairs article is really all about. It is an acknowledgement that Ukraine is losing, a neocon acknowledgement that Ukraine is losing and that Project Ukraine is collapsing. But in true neocon thinking, what they can do in order to save Project Ukraine is that they can give the Zelensky regime, according to Foreign Affairs, more money, 61 billion, more weapons, long-range missiles, ATACMS and Taurus and stuff like that, more soldiers. That one, I don't know how they're going to pull that one off, but Foreign Affairs says they have to get the mobilization started right away. But more soldiers and just basically a whole new military. If they can give Ukraine a whole new military, weapons, money, soldiers, then they'll be able to hold the Russian military back. That is pretty much what Foreign Affairs is saying in this article. So it's not too late. It's not too late, Collective West. It's not too late. United States of America, hand over that 61 billion to the Zelensky regime. Let's send a whole bunch of weapons over to the Zelensky regime, and let's put together a new army for the Zelensky regime, and then Project Ukraine is saved. You see, the neocons, they've game planned this out. They're 10 steps ahead of everybody. They've game planned this out, and that's how they see Project Ukraine being saved. It's really a simple solution when you think about it. Really simple. A simple solution to the problem. Money, weapons, and troops. And then you can push the Russians back. So that is Foreign Affairs' latest article on Project Ukraine, the neocon publication known as Foreign Affairs. And Lord Cameron, he's on the case. Lord Cameron is trying to solve some of these problems that Foreign Affairs has highlighted. And Lord Cameron, he may have a solution to the long-range missile problem. He's speaking with his German allies, and Lord Cameron told Germany, look, if you're a bit reluctant about sending over the wonder weapon, Taurus missiles, well, I've got a solution for you, Germany. Why don't you send the Taurus missiles to the UK? Send us the Taurus missiles. And what the UK will do is they will send Storm Shadow missiles to Ukraine. That's Cameron's solution to the Taurus missile problem. And Cameron's smart. That's why he's a lord. That is why he's a lord and we're just regular, everyday people, because he can figure out he can figure out solutions to these very difficult, perplexing problems. And he's done it again. He has done it again. Lord Cameron to the rescue. Just send those Taurus missiles our way, and we'll send over some Storm Shadows. Problem solved. Lord Cameron. Way to go, my man, Lord Cameron. Anyway, let's now talk about France. France, Macron. In the news every day, Mr. Macron, little Napoleon, Jupiter. Macron, he is in the news a lot. And he has got the foreign minister of France in the Baltic nations, and the foreign minister of France, he is putting together a coalition. The aim of this coalition is to send troops into Ukraine to fight the Russian military. Yeah, I think that's pretty stupid, but I don't know. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think this is a really smart idea. I don't know. But anyway, the foreign minister of France, according to Politico, he went to the Baltic nations. Ukraine was also there. The foreign minister of Ukraine, Mr. Kaluba, who they say is on his way out. But they all met in, I believe, in Lithuania, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, in Lithuania. And they are discussing sending a coalition of military forces, the 3 Baltic states and France, into Ukraine to take on the Russian military. I imagine that Putin and Shoigu and Gerasimov, I imagine they are very, very worried. Very worried. I bet you Medvedev is panicking. He's probably shaking at the prospects of the 3 Baltic nations and France sending the military into Ukraine to fight Russia. From Politico, France finds Baltic allies in its spat with Germany over Ukraine troop deployment. He's also sticking it to Germany, huh? Macron is also sticking it to Olaf Scholz. He's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. He's going to take on the Putin, and he's sticking it to Olaf Scholz because Olaf Scholz has been reluctant to send Taurus missiles to Ukraine. That's the type of strategy that only a Napoleon-esque type leader can come up with. That is Macron. That is the brilliance of Emmanuel Macron. France is building an alliance of countries open to potentially sending Western troops to Ukraine, and in the process deepening its clash with the more cautious Berlin. French Foreign Minister Stéphane Séjourné was in Lithuania on Friday, where he met his Baltic and Ukrainian counterparts to buttress the idea that foreign troops could end up helping Ukraine in areas like demining. It is not for Russia to tell us how we should help Ukraine in the coming months or years, Séjourné said at a meeting chaired by Lithuania Foreign Minister Gabrielius Landsbergis and attended by his Ukrainian counterpart Dmytro Kuleba. It is not for Russia to organize how we deploy our actions or to set red lines, so we decided among us. Yeah, damn right. It's not up to some big mushrooms. Paper mache mushrooms. Interesting. Damn right. It's not up to Russia to tell France and the Baltic nations how to deploy their troops or where to deploy their troops. Yeah. Yeah. Foreign Minister Stéphane Séjourné. I have a feeling that the Foreign Minister of France, he's going to give Annalena Baerbock a run for her money for the Clown World of the Year awards. I don't know. It's just a feeling. It's just a feeling I have about this new French foreign minister. But there you have it. Russia is not going to order around Macron and tell Macron where he could deploy the French military. So Macron and the Baltic states, go ahead. Let's see. Put your money where your mouth is, and let's see if you guys are going to send troops into Ukraine. Something tells me they're not. But who knows? Macron is in such a panic state right now that he just may do it. But something tells me that this is a whole lot of talk. I wouldn't be surprised if this is some sort of trick, some sort of game that Macron is playing, where he understands that Project Ukraine is going to collapse, and he's talking all of this smack because when it does collapse, Macron can then come out and tell his collective West peers, his counterparts in NATO and in the European Union, don't blame me for Ukraine's collapse. I wanted to send troops into Ukraine, so I'm not at fault. Maybe. That may be Macron's angle. Hachu Ibudu, Mikhail Lavkovsky. Hachu Ibudu. Interesna. This is at a theater. At a theater in Limassol. Interesting. So, that is the coalition that Macron is putting together. So the Telegraph, the UK Telegraph, they put out an article saying that Europe must be ready for the US to quit NATO, according to diplomats. Capitals must do the planning and reconsider defense capabilities in light of threats by Donald Trump. Putin, Trump, Putin, Trump, Putin. It never gets old, does it? It never, ever gets old. So the Telegraph is basically saying in this article that if and when Trump becomes president of the United States, then he's going to ditch NATO. He's just going to ditch NATO. That's what Trump is planning to do. And Europe needs to be ready. They need to be ready for the possibility that the United States, under President Donald Trump, is going to pull the United States out of NATO. So what does Europe do? What must Europe do? Well, it's very simple, according to the Telegraph. Spend more money. Spend more money on the military. Problem solved. See, all problems can be solved, right? Just spend more money. Spend more money. Problem solved. Let's pump up that MIC stock. Let's get some big, fat, juicy contracts with the military-industrial complex companies, and you don't have to worry about Trump. Oh boy. So the Pope gave an interview, not a recent interview actually, though what he said has now recently been published, or at least it's now going viral. But the Pope gave an interview about a month ago, and according to Reuters, the Pope says that Ukraine should have the courage of the white flag of negotiations. Let me read you what Reuters is reporting here. Pope Francis has said in an interview that Ukraine should have what he called the courage of the white flag and negotiate an end to the war with Russia. Francis made his comments in an interview recorded last month with Swiss broadcaster RSI, well before Friday's latest offer by Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan to host a summit between Ukraine and Russia to end the war. So this was last month, this interview. Nicolas, Ayos Nicolas. Ayos Nicolas. So yeah, this was last month, this interview, but for some reason it's going viral now, or at least Reuters is reporting on this now. But yeah, that's what Pope Francis said. It's time for the white flag. Jeda na vinos. Jeda na vinos. Takeaway. Food for takeaway, right? Yeah. That's right. What food do they have here? Lobsters and shrimp, octopus, calamari. All right. So yeah, everyone is talking about this comment from the Pope. It's time for Ukraine to wave the white flag, or to not be afraid to wave the white flag, to show courage and wave the white flag, according to the Pope. Ukraine is very upset with what the Pope said. They're saying he's some sort of Russian stooge, or Putin stooge, or Putin bot, or Russian bot, or working for Russia, or whatever. So they're very upset with the comments made by Pope Francis. Actually, here's exactly what the Pope said. And I quote, "Have the courage of a white flag and negotiate. Don't be ashamed. Negotiate. How many more deaths if you continue?" And he was addressing this to Ukraine. So obviously the Pope also understands what is going on in the conflict in Ukraine, and that Ukraine has lost this war, and it's time to negotiate and save thousands and thousands of lives. It looks like this restaurant is closed. High Chaparral Cocktail Bar. Yeah, it looks like this restaurant is closed, but it would be a nice place, huh? Right on the ocean, right here, right on the sea. Nice location for a restaurant. Probably was a nice location for a seafood place. Tables right here. Got a nice view. Eat some calamari or some octopus, some octabodi. Good, nice. So those were the comments from the Pope, which has everyone talking. Everyone is talking. Ukraine is very upset with Pope Francis. Very upset. How dare you? How dare you suggest that we wave the white flag? Didn't Dido have a song called White Flag? I think she did. I think in her song, she actually says, I will go down with this ship. That's what her lyrics say. I will go down with this ship, and I will not surrender. White Flag by Dido. Good song. All right, let's do a couple of clown worlds, and we will wrap up this video. Awesome. So let's start things off with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Estonia. The MFA in Estonia, they posted on Twitter X, this gem. This is what they posted. Today, 80 years ago, hashtag Tallinn, Russia. Hashtag Tallinn. Hashtag Tallinn was devastated by March bombings, which destroyed a quarter of the city overnight. Up to 300 Russian aircrafts were bombing us, and their primary targets were residential districts and cultural landmarks. Russian playbook is the same today in Ukraine. Okay, that is what they posted on Twitter X. Sometimes I have a hard time reading the posts as I'm walking and talking, but that is what they posted, talking about how 80 years ago, Russia was bombing the March bombings of Tallinn, Estonia, and they put a bunch of photos. 1944, Tallinn in 1944, and Tallinn, Estonia in 2024. And they have a whole bunch of photos on this Twitter thread. It's a whole thread, and it's showing all the photos of what 80 years ago, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, what Russia did 80 years ago, and how Estonia is today. So this was a big mess up on the part of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. A very big mess up. Bicicleta. Because 80 years ago, there was no Russia. It was the USSR. It was the USSR 80 years ago, not Russia. I think this is some sort of history rewrite that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is engaging in. But here's a reply from Kevork. He said, Russia was bombing us, quote, Russia was bombing us 80 years ago, indicates that you, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, endorsed the Nazis in Estonia during World War II, or am I missing something? Yeah. And if you go to this Twitter thread, you'll see a ton of replies to this thread from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, basically calling them out for their lack of knowledge of history and this type of history rewrite, and telling them that, look, World War II, NAZI Germany, USSR, fighting the NAZIs, get your facts straight. So you can go on to the Twitter thread from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and they just got absolutely pummeled, annihilated for putting out this tweet. That's why it made today's clown world. Estonia, Kaya Kallas. And another clown world is coming from Bellingcat, the Collective West NATO-aligned publication known as Bellingcat. There was news yesterday that they were reporting, or they had broke a story, which claimed that Zelensky was paid $53 million by Zelensky in order to be ambassador in the UK and to leave Zelensky alone. And there was a video attached to this report as well, and everyone was running with the story that Bellingcat claimed that Zelensky got paid off by Zelensky in order to to accept the position of ambassador to the UK. And when I saw this story, I was like, what? What? I was about to report on this yesterday, but I was just thinking, you know, I can't figure out, why would Bellingcat, super pro-Ukraine, super anti-Russia, super pro-NATO, super pro-collective West, why would they report a story like this? It made no sense to me, so I held off, and thank God I did, because the founder or CEO or editor-in-chief of Bellingcat, I'm not sure what his position is, Elliot Higgins, posted on Twitter X, another fake Bellingcat BBC video has emerged. I'm truly confused about who this is actually for. None of these get any traction, even in the rabidly pro-Russian circles. So Elliot Higgins, he came out and he said that this is nonsense. A fake story about Zaluzhny getting paid $53 million to become ambassador to the UK. Pretty creative, I have to admit, but fake. And one more clown world, and it has to do with the UK Defence Minister, Grant Shapps, who went to Kiev, and he wanted to showcase some of the Russian tanks that the Ukraine military had captured and are on display in Kiev. And so Grant Shapps, he took a video of himself walking around these tanks without realizing that there had been a whole bunch of graffiti sprayed on these tanks by the Ukraine military, or by people in Kiev, I'm not sure, but there was a whole bunch of graffiti sprayed on these tanks since they were on display in the center of Kiev. And it was a whole bunch of NAZI graffiti on these tanks. And at one moment during Grant Shapps' video in Kiev, you can see him standing in front of one of these tanks, and on the right of him are NAZI symbols, and on the left of him are NAZI symbols spray painted on this tank on display in central Kiev. Not a good look for the UK Defence Minister. Not a good look at all. And, you know, hey, you know, no NAZIs there. No NAZIs there. Just look at the UK Defence Minister standing in front of a tank with all kinds of interesting graffiti on it. It happens. It happens when you're walking around and there's graffiti all over the place. You know, you could get some interesting stuff on display. Anyway, that is the video, theduran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop. 15% off t-shirts, I believe. But I'm sure we have some coupon running. Check out the Duran shop. And that is it for the video today. How are we doing on time? Yeah, that is it. Take care.